Well, good day, everybody. It's 7th of January 2025, and it's Orthodox Christmas. Orthodox Christmas over here in some of these Orthodox countries. And I'm going to be walking through. It's, look at a construction area. Again, haven't been here for a little while. And I'll be talking about the news. So, a lot of things going on. Resigning of the Canadian Prime Minister. So, let's get into that, okay? Weather here is, it's not too bad. Oh gosh, I don't want to be walking with this guy with his dogs, so maybe I'll hang out just a little bit here. Every time I try to go, I don't want to end up walking with people or something. So I'll just hang out here a little bit, show you some of these newer buildings. I don't think anybody's living in any of these things yet. Matter of fact, I was here, what was that? At the end of the summer, and there's one building, I think, over there at least, and there maybe is people living there. I think I saw somebody coming out with their dog as well. So anyway, like I said, it's Christmas over here. It's 7th of January, and Justin Trudeau finally resigned yesterday. Everybody's happy about that, of course. He ran Canada into the ground, but if you're looking at a lot of these countries, Olaf Scholz and so many of these people, they're running their countries into the ground. So it kind of makes you wonder, well, how did these people get into power? Are they just completely incompetent, or are they corrupt, or are they greedy, or what's going on, or are they puppets of some sorts, somebody? Maybe it's a combination of all of those things, all of the above, maybe some of the above. I don't know. Justin Trudeau, he's been there for 11 years, and well, the biggest problem I would have with that guy if I was a Canadian is what he was doing during the the pandemic time, 2020. You know, he was very, very draconian. Not difficult to say. That was really like a terrible dictator, the things that he was doing. The truckers, remember, he was requiring that truckers wear a mask when they're sitting alone in the cab of their truck traveling across the country. They have to be wearing a mask, and that was just one of the restrictions that he was putting on. Really stupid, lunatic kind of crap, you know? I mean, if you want to talk about all his LGBT stuff and all that other sort of a thing. And then those people, I think, that donated money to those truckers, because it was completely ridiculous what he was trying to make them do. And if you put money, $5, then he froze people's bank accounts. So in other words, if you are working somewhere, your money, say for example, is going into the bank, and you have a family to support, you can't even get your friggin' money. You know, you have like whatever you call it, direct pay or anything. You know, I don't really know the names, but so you don't have any friggin' money. You can't even pay your rent unless you have some sort of a mechanism where your rent is paid and maybe some of your bills. But how are you going to get money for food and other expenses? I mean, what a terrible guy. And then the housing prices are just phenomenal. Nobody can afford to get a house there practically in Canada unless you're super, super rich. I don't know, you can go on and on for all of the things that this guy did. Medical care, terrible, everything. And then he goes around and talking with his slicko, a con artist sort of voice, and saying how much he loves the Canadian people. You know, it's like, what the, you know? So the only way to prove that he loves them is to resign if he's doing such a crappy, incompetent job. Just unbelievable that he was even there for that long. And it just kind of shows you that whenever you get these really terrible leaders, it's not like you're going to ever be able to get them out of power unless they're somehow like forced to resign. So they can stay in as long as they want. Look at Macron. You know, look at Olaf Scholz. He allowed his pipelines to be blown up. It's incredible. Oh, this guy here, he just came out of this building with a garbage bag. So I guess, wow, look at how big that sucker is. Whoa, a lot of people. But I can tell you, if you look and try to find how many of them have curtains. Well, this is just a stairwell, so you can't look at that. But looks like a lot of them have curtains over there. So quite a few people. But as I say, it's Christmas, so maybe people aren't running around. I should also mention my channel not getting that many views. I got a huge amount of views on the video I made in the metros, you know, which was kind of shocking, but I'll tell you, the only way to explain it is somebody put that on their channel and showed it to other people. I think what do I have, 300 views or something like that. And then on the other things, I got even less than normal. I mean, it's like a solid 50, and then of course over a a week or two or something, you get more people to view the videos. But I don't know. It's not like it's becoming a lot. And I don't care. No, I tell you what, I do this to, it's a therapy for me, because I see all this crazy stuff going on in the world. I'm not asking for money or nothing, but I just want to get it off my chest. It really bothers me. I mean, I don't know. I'm not out to make money, and I'm not out for. It's not really for ego. It's more like, I don't know. It's like I said, a therapy. Why I do this. It's and then a lot of you that make comments, and it's reassuring to me when people make comments and they feel the same way, that they actually care about humanity and all that. It doesn't sound like I care so much and I'm going to run for some kind of a political office. If I were doing that, why would I be in Belarus? I mean, and the language is really, really difficult, I'll tell you. It's nothing like English. English is really easy compared to Russian. I never thought it would be this difficult. And a lot of us are in the class. There's some people, they've been exposed to Russian a longer period of time, so they understand more, and they speak more. So it's like in our class, one terrible thing is the teacher, he just rattles on, and I don't understand half of what he's talking about, because like I said, we're all at different levels, and there's a few of us, they're down like my level. Oh, by the way, it's raining, and I wrote this on paper this time. And so another thing I was going to talk about, maybe the main thing, was a lot of people talk about, when somebody leaves office or gets fired or something, they called it the Zelensky curse. And I'm starting to think, is it the Zelensky curse? Because a lot of people say that Donald Trump winning the election in the United States has a lot to do with Trudeau leaving. And it's like, is it the Trump effect? Or is it the Zelensky curse? Or Putin? Putin did it. Putin did it. It must be Putin. I mean, that was what we were all talking about, I guess maybe a year ago, or who knows, about a decade. Putin, it's Putin. Putin did it. If you lose your car keys, Putin did it. Missing a sock out of the dryer. Putin took your sock. I mean, that's normally the one who's doing it all. I kind of think so. It makes you really wonder. He's got his testicles. I mean, he's got his tentacles stretched all over the place. Can't stretch testicles. I didn't say testicles, did I? No. But his tentacles are stretched all over the place. Even, and then the fine fibers going into your home and stealing the socks out of the dryer, things like that. I mean, it must be him. Somebody's got to have done it. I'm missing a sock, and then a sock on this thing. So, they're different socks, so I can't mix and match. I have one blue sock with a black sock, one's longer and thicker. I don't know. Damn Putin anyway. Gosh, costing me money, stealing socks and stuff. He even put a hole in my underwear. I took it out of the washing machine, and there was a hole in there. And there's little holes sometimes in the closet in my sweaters. Putin moths. He's got control of the moths too. Putting holes in my sweater. No, I hope none of you think I'm serious about that. You never know with these woke people. They don't really have a sense of humor a lot. So, anyway. Or maybe it's the CIA. But let's talk about some of these people, maybe. You can't dismiss, somebody being involved. I mean, if you talk about George Soros, when you're talking about and the CIA, all of these global sort of things happening, because obviously that's the case. Even Elon Musk and Candace Owens, a lot of people, even Donald Trump even talks about it, and they mention the deep state. And then a lot of time I was like, for some years, I was not even considering that Israel has a part of this. But apparently they have a huge part of that. And then Israel, they might be linked. Obviously they are linked, because that's how Israel was founded, by some of these really super rich people. And it makes you really wonder, how does Israel have so much control over the United States government? Not just the foreign policy. Do you remember Bill Clinton, when he was going through this Monica Lewinsky sort of a deal, and part of the transcripts say that when he was talking with Monica Lewinsky on the telephone, he said, "Oh, don't talk that way. Don't talk about that, because right now there's a foreign government listening in on our telephone calls." That's part of the transcripts, by the way. And gosh, I wonder if that was the Russians. It wasn't. You know who it was. And there was some sort of an agreement. I don't know. They have these weird agreements. Like I'm not even sure what they are, what they have to do, because there's Operation this and this sort of a deal. Five Eyes, Three Sisters. I don't know, but anyway, it's some sort of a deal, and I remember hearing about it because I think maybe within 10 years of that same period, Angela Merkel, it was put out that the United States was listening in on all of her phone calls, and that's general knowledge. Everybody knows that as well. So, but they had some sort of an agreement whereby Israel is allowed to spy on all Americans. This was even before Snowden left, and Americans, the CIA, the NSA, excuse me, the NSA was, as he put out, is spying on Americans. But before that, even, it was Israel, and they have some sort of a connection where they can have devices through companies, put them on even on regular people's phones. And it's really weird how they can get computers, and maybe AI is going to help quite a bit, and deciding on who to listen to and what's important. But yes, Israel was listening in, and Bill Clinton was talking about it. And I remember back when I was working in military intelligence, they tried to tell us that Russia was listening in, and they had a big building or something in the embassy down there in Washington D.C. and that in Washington D.C. that they were listening in on all the telephone conversations in the Washington D.C. area. But, I don't know. A lot of that stuff was just BS. I remember hearing a lot of things, but But let's be honest. I started talking about this already. Trudeau is gone because he has terrible, terrible policies. And it makes you wonder, well, what was his impetus? What was his motivation for having such bad policies? Is he just a stupid idiot, or is he corrupt? Is he greedy? And we all know that most of these problems going on in the world is because of arrogance and greed. And a lot of the things that come from that is, comes from arrogance and greed. It's, you can simplify it into secondary categories. Intolerance, for example. Being intolerant is part of arrogance. And you can look at all these other human failings and find out the culprit of what's going on. And greed. I don't even know how he benefits from, financially, from what the stuff that he's doing. So we know the why and what, is going on in the world. And the biggest question is always who. And like Soros is one, and you have Bill Gates on one side, and you have Israel on the other side, and then there's a lot of other elites that we don't even know about, and their names are popping up. And these people like Trudeau and even Trump. Trump's a billionaire, but he's more of a facilitator. He's not. I think he's. I don't. It's either he's very reluctant to go along with what these people want, or he's not a part, or I don't know. But he has to also facilitate what these people want, because who gives him donations to become president? I don't know. This is awesome. We're going to find out, I guess, over the next 4 years, and what he's promised, and maybe even to who he's promised. Israel obviously is one of them, and or is he going to? Like he's done this in the past as a businessman. I think he's made agreements and he's backed out, or kind of gone around, and he's sort of double-crossed in a way certain people. And I remember his explanation was, these are not babies. These people, I think it was something to do with some casinos in Las Vegas, and he said these are not babies. People he kind of shafted, but these were people, they're dishonest people all over the place. Anyway, and then as you also know, Elon Musk has some kind of a secret deals with the defense industry as well. What are those deals? I don't know. And here they're talking about a lot of people are talking about, at least maybe they're inferring that what Trump is going to be doing is taking down a lot of the military-industrial complex. I don't know. Elon Musk was talking about some bad things like the F-35. It's a huge boondoggle. He said it's obsolete, and what he wants to do is put Silicon Valley more in charge and making drones and things that, like fighter jets, are maybe obsolete. And I don't know. Maybe I can agree with him. Ooh, this is very slippery here. Woo! I'm gonna hope I don't fall on my assets again. Well, I haven't yet in these videos, luckily, but it's very icy down here. I don't know. The temperature is maybe around right around 0 or 1. I guess that's probably worse, you know, when you have some ice and there's it's rain and you get water on top of that. You know, what do they call that? Some kind of a special thing if you're driving a car, hydroplaning, something like that, but with ice. Anyway, so keep going on here, Dookie boy. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he's saying that he is going to take down the deep state. He just got reelected. And of course, officially now, Trump is the president, I guess just after yesterday, when I guess it was snowing and all that sort of thing down in Washington, and still enough of them came and they voted for president. And I guess the first time since 1988 that the Democrats did not object to the Republican president, which is a strange thing, very strange thing. And Kamala Harris pledged, that they are facilitating a transfer of power very smoothly. Donald Trump says, no, they're not. You know, Joe Biden, obviously, we see this. He's trying to do all sorts of things to, what does it say? To screw up Trump's future. And I think one of the latest things that Trump was talking about is he's trying to make something whereby over 1 million acres are off limits to any sort of development in the United States for, I don't know, for maybe fracking or something like that. I have no idea. Fracking is not necessarily a nice thing, I guess, but I don't really know. We don't know the details. None of us do. So, whatever. I've been trying to make some excuses for Trump, maybe. I don't know. Hoping that things are going to get better. So, taking down the deep state. Even Trump has talked about the fact that obviously there is a deep state. Tulsi Gabbard has mentioned that. She's going to be in charge of, I guess it's called national security. You know, it's kind of an oversight over the CIA, the FBI, and NSA, and all of these things. Who knows what kind of control she's going to have, if any. I don't know. So let's see how that happens. In other words, but they're all admitting that there is such a thing as a deep state. And, you know, if you saw, this post that Elon Musk put up, you know, where Joe Biden gave, the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Hillary Clinton and to George Soros, two of some of the most evil people probably on the planet, that cause more deaths and destruction than just about anybody else. Soros, he's one of the big guys that started this whole thing in Ukraine. It was basically kind of like his country. He was trying to, of course, take over Hungary as well, and Viktor Orban didn't let him happen. I don't know. Maybe he's kind of slacked off quite a bit more on Hungary. He comes from Hungary, by the way. And if you remember old George Soros, when he was just a young boy, you know, he's an ancient guy. You know, just like what you saw in Elon Musk post, if you can find it somewhere. He used one of these guys from Star Wars that looks like he's 150 years old or something, you know, with a cape over him. Looks like I don't know, what was it, the Grim Reaper or whatever, you know, with a cape, you know, black robe on or whatever, getting the Medal of Honor from Joe Biden, you know, and he said, Soros is looking good now. Maybe it's the lighting, because, you know, George Soros, kind of a weird looking guy, but he handed over his empire anyway to Alexander. So, and Alexander said he's going to be worse than his dad. Let's see. As you know, he was the first one. Alexander was the first one to endorse Kamala Harris. Well, it looks like something didn't go quite right there. And somebody's talking, way up there. Huh, strange. Somebody's taking my photo, apparently, up there. I don't know, maybe I can show you. Oh, now he put his camera down. You know, I don't know. Who knows what that's all about. It's not like I'm any kind of a spy, so what am I going to do? I hear voices up there, too. Really weird, you know. Life is strange. So let's go over here with this nice colors for this playground where I don't even know if there's any kids coming here yet. As you see, then when they have apartment buildings and things going up in Belarus, they always have a place for the kids to play. and things. And there will be times, obviously, in summer when there'll be parents sitting around here watching their kids, sitting on these benches, or sometimes playing with the kids on these things. It happens. I could be filming things like that. Anyway, so another thing, as far as this deep state sort of a deal, that you have to maybe make a distinction. Is there a deep state and there are globalists, and do they work together? Even like Israel's part of this. There's no doubt about that. I don't know. These people work hand in glove. So it's kind of interesting to try to find out who's on whose team, who's doing what to who. I have no idea. But Austria, it's one of these countries whereby what they call the far right, just like Marine Le Pen in France, or Alice Weidel. Well, actually the AFD. There are other people. They chose her to run for Chancellor of Germany, but I'm mostly talking about what they call far right parties. Now, the one in Holland, I can't remember his name, kind of a strange looking guy. He is definitely kind of far right. He's kind of like like I said, I don't remember his name. He's got kind of a weird grayish, bushy, floppy, or puffy kind of hair. You guys, doesn't matter. But anyway, the political party in Austria, I guess they've won the mandate because the party that did not win with a majority. How do I explain this? Well, that party, the one that's far right, they actually got more support from the people of Austria in a vote than the party that was chosen to run Austria. However, that party was not successful in forming a coalition of other parties to run Austria, effectively. And they didn't have the support, couldn't get anything going. And so instead, what's had to happen, the president had to be told, which is mostly just a figurehead. The president in some countries is much like the vice president in the United States, like Steinmeier in Germany, where they don't have that much of a function. They only have some smaller powers. The chancellor actually has the power in Germany, not the president. I've met two presidents of Germany, by the way, Karl Karstens and what's the other guy? Oh, von Weizsäcker, Richard von Weizsäcker. So it took von Weizsäcker to, believe it or not, visit U.S. troops in Frankfurt for Thanksgiving. That's kind of a weird thing. I met Karl Karstens, just kind of briefly anyway, just saying hi. I was just a student in the University of Washington. I think he went to the University of Washington when he was younger, so he came and spoke to our student body, and so got to meet him because I was taking a few German classes at that time, and some of us. And anyway, not a big deal because they don't have much to do. Just like the president of Austria, as I'm getting to right now. So he was given the mandate. I guess that's one of his small tasks, is deciding on who can form a government. So he gave it to what they call the far right, I say, of Austria. I don't know much about that party, believe it or not, but it's probably going to be far better than the party that had originally had the mandate to form the government. And so we'll see what happens. But if it's like the AFD, or if what is Marine Le Pen's party called, even if they got more votes than any of the other parties in the country, just like Marine Le Pen, just like not like the AFD, they actually got a very close second, I think. But the other parties refuse to form a coalition with them, and it's even if they say it's far right, they're actually not far right, because the AFD, for example, like I've said in other videos, they don't have anything against immigration. They just don't want unhindered immigration where people can just flood into the country like that. And of course, that's one reason why, and it's not even really talked about in Germany. There's a lot of rapes. There's a lot of gang rapes in Germany, and it's illegal for the press to talk about it. So they cover that up. And a lot of this is going on in the UK as well. So, and there's another problem there. What's going on? There's a guy named Tommy Robinson in the UK, and he is definitely very, I guess, anti-Muslim and all that. So he is actually kind of a far right guy, unlike the AFD, really. Even if the AFD sounds like it, they're actually really not. But this Tommy Robinson, he's not in politics really. And he's in jail right now. And Elon Musk had suggested that Tommy Robinson be allowed in the AFD or whatever. And Nigel Farage said, he doesn't really fit into our party. So it's not going to happen. And so he's pissed off at Nigel Farage, even though I guess a few weeks ago they were kind of like buddies, because Trump and Farage, they support each other. And Nigel Farage, I think he got quite a few votes, and he maybe would actually really win an election if he maybe started going that way and honestly doing things that would facilitate him winning an election. So makes you really wonder. What's going to happen in Germany? They have a vote in February, and and I guess Macron, he's supposed to be like the caretaker of the government, I guess, for a few months until the Liberal Party decides on somebody else. And does that mean that it's going to be again a liberal in charge, or what? I'm not quite sure. You guys can look up that yourself. I'm not living in France. I'm not so up on everything about that. So you can look it up. It's going to be interesting what happens in Germany. I think they still think that the CDU-CSU is going to be the prominent party winner in this election. I doubt it very much. And Olaf Scholz, he's sticking by. I'm not going to allow Taurus long-range missiles from Germany to go to Ukraine, which of course would mean that... Oh, some noise coming here. I'll have to walk back. Let's see if I can show you. Tractor. Well, anyway. So he thinks he's going to win on that. Saying, I'm not going to send those missiles, but I guess what? The AFD doesn't want to send them either. But Merz from the CDU-CSU, he wants to pretty much get Germany into the war. So I'm kind of wondering, are the polls accurate by saying that the German people are going to, in larger numbers, vote for the CDU-CSU? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And Olaf Scholz and the Traffic Light Coalition, the Greens and the FDP, they've already made a huge, huge mess of things. I don't think that Christian Lindner of the FDP is really that bad. I think he was against, sending so much money to Ukraine, at least. And Habeck, I think what's his first name? Actually, I'm trying to get away. These guys are removing snow. But Habeck, he's no good, and everybody knows about Annalena Baerbock. Annalena Baerbock, this guy coming around again? Oh. I was hoping I could walk that way. I don't know, maybe I can walk out this way. I'll walk out this way. Even though there's no paved road, I might be walking through some mud. But Annalena Baerbock, boy, oh boy, oh boy. You get these people that, in a certain way, they hate their own country. Oh man, I guess I can't win for losing. Now he's coming right behind me. Maybe that means I can go back this way. Why is it, whenever I'm doing videos, it's like a magnet. It's like a magnet. Whatever's noisy or people staring and Googling at me, I'm attracting them whenever I do videos. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to get an invisible cell phone. Maybe I can ask those invisible Koreans that are in the Donbass that the United States and Ukraine are talking about, that nobody has ever seen. Not even the Russians have seen them, but they're invisible and they're fighting on the side of Russia. So, thousands and thousands of them. So now somebody's got a saw going over there or something. What the heck is going on with all this noise? And this is Christmas. You're not supposed to really be working. And I'm going to be surprised if even the shops are open. I got to get some things, for the cats, for food. Oh, almost slipped. Fell on my assets right there. But anyway, guys and gals out there, I don't know if I have anything really more to say. I'd like to do a video at some time. More like philosophical things. I don't know. You guys may not really get into that. It looks like a lot of people, they don't really like the news things I talk about. And I don't understand why it was so good for me to do the metro thing. It makes me wonder on who posted it. So there's apparently some people more like interested in travel that maybe watch my channel and they put things up. So when the weather gets better, maybe I'll go and do a little bit more sort of traveling things. I don't know if they're interested in Belarus. Maybe they're interested in metros. I have no idea. So if I could find out, maybe I can do a little bit more videos. Just get maybe a few people out there that watch those channels are also interested in news. I can sneak in a few little news things in, like I did actually on that video, when I'm doing sort of a travel sort of a deal. But anyway, don't want to make it too long, and appreciate you guys joining me. Probably more things that I didn't say. Let's see. Was there anything I might have left out? I don't know. I leave a few things out all the time, but it's mostly opinion of what's going on, and we all have our own opinions. So you can put some, make sure that you put some sort of a comment, or just put some face or something anyway, because I'm sort of wondering if Google is just blocking comments when I don't get anything at all. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Because like I said, I'm sure that they don't really send my videos out to a lot of people, cold calling, as I say, because I see people, not necessarily news channels, but that have really terrible videos. They get a lot more views. Some guy throwing his garbage out, then he goes to the shop. I think I've mentioned him before, and he shows to the camera like what he's buying. I think it's in Russia. He puts it in his cart. He goes home and he plays with his kids. Somebody's making the meal. Then she shows them eating his meal, and then he gets I don't know, 1,000 views. It really shocks me, you know. But I guess that's more interesting than talking about what's going on in the world. So very weird. Anyway, different strokes for different folks. But thanks for joining me again. Probably the third time I'm saying that. And well, I like I said, I thought I was supposed to be going to school. I forgot there was an Orthodox Christmas, and so that's why I'm making this video today. Probably only be making maybe one or two a week after this, unless some big kind of news comes up. I'm hoping maybe I can make some little short video or something, 5 minutes or something, talking about something, if I do, and if you guys are interested. But again, probably fourth time, I appreciate you guys viewing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye, and Merry Orthodox Christmas, by the way.